All right, so I want to welcome us to a brand
Good
new trading.
morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Mr. John Daniel SCN. Good morning to everybody. So I want to welcome us to a brand new trading day. Today is Friday, the 13th of December 2024, morning mood value, and we're having our morning analysis. Today we have just one fundamental event for the day, at least tradable one, and it's coming up by 8 a.m., which is just about 40 minutes away from now. And it is GDP from the United Kingdom. That's a gross domestic product. If you look at the details of this news, it says that this news measures the change in the total value of all goods and services produced by the economy. An actual greater than forecast is good for the currency. So what that means is that when this data is released by 8 o'clock, the forecast here is 0.1%. So if the actual data, which will be released by 8, comes out greater than forecast, becomes a greater than forecast, the color will be in green. And that means that there will be strength in the pound. There'll be strength in the British pound. If the actual comes out greater than forecast, that means we'll be able to buy the pound. And if on the other hand, the actual comes out less than forecast, the color will be in red. And that means there'll be a decline. That's a drop, a bearish movement, whichever word you want to use for it, But then that means I'm going to sell the pound if the data comes out actual less than forecast. Now, the forecast again is 0.1%. So any data above 0.1%, maybe 0.2 and above, means we are buying the pound. And if it is less than 0.1%, will be yeah, apologies. Network seems to be unstable. Okay, so we're back. I hope you can hear me. If you can hear me, please type a yes. Are we there? All right, thank you. Thank you, Zico. All right. So so if the data comes out bad for the pound, that means we're looking at selling the pound. So we're going to look briefly at the GBP pairs, which might react to this news this morning. So I'm flipping over now to my forex, sorry, to my MetaTrader, not Forex Factory. I'm switching over to my MetaTrader, and I'll be looking first at the GBP CHF. The GBP CHF is an instrument of interest this morning. Now, for the GBP CHF, we can see here that yesterday candle closed more like a rejection candle around a resistance zone. Even if it's not a rejection candle, the fact is that price hit a major resistance level yesterday and price closed on that resistance level. So technically, we're looking for an opportunity for the pound to sell today. So with this, I have a bearish outlook on the pound. These are the resistance levels. Let me use the blue pen. This is a eye, a second eye, and this is the third eye. And that rectangle is the box that connects all of them together. So it means that if the news comes out bad for the pound, we're looking for an opportunity to sell. Yeah, it's possible the news may come out good for the pound, but if it comes out good for the pound, it means we're looking for a short-term bullish movement. Price may go and hit briefly, hit this resistance, and then still decline. So, or rather just look out for a bearish scenario on this news. So I'm bearish on the pound for this news. And there are other pound instruments we can also look at. I'm also looking at GBP, JPY. Now, yesterday I gave us an analysis on GBP JPY for a bearish movement. And before at least the afternoon session yesterday, the pound moved exactly in that direction and was able to generate some pips. Again, this is GBP JPY on the 4-hour time frame. We can see there is a descending trend line. And simultaneously with that descending trend line, we have a resistance zone here, which gives us a bearish outlook on the GBP JPY. Yesterday, from the afternoon session analysis, pound already moved some pips in the bearish direction from the analysis I gave, generating well over our confirm now. If you remember yesterday afternoon, I said I was bearish on the pound. That was the setup, and it generated about close to about 90, 95 pips thereabout, then retraced. Now, with the news this morning, if the news comes out, negative, that is actual less than forecast, then that will lead to a further decline in the pound. The pound, as in GBJPY, is still very, very bearish. Though in this instance now, we'll be looking at taking a sell if price breaks out below this current this zone here, because this region is acting more like the neckline for a head and shoulder, which is forming. So when price breaks out below this zone, yeah, that will be the point where we trigger a sell on the GBP JPY. So we're bearish on the GBP JPY. And peradventure, the news is neutral, doesn't affect the market. Technically, GBP JPY will still eventually. I'm back. It's like the network is really, really bad this morning, but we pull through. We have some, at least we still have some little time left for me to share with us what I have. So we're bearish on both the GBP CHF and the GBP JPY. Those are the two instruments I'm looking at ahead of the news. Now for technicals, I'm still bearish on the JPY for the technicals. I'm bearish on the JPY, I'm bearish on the New Zealand JPY, and I'm bearish on the AUD JPY for technicals. Now, these technicals are only to be taken after the news. GDP, is a volatile news. We don't know whether it will cut across all currency pairs. But after the news, it's possible for us to pick some pips from the JPY pairs. And let me just delete all the lines here so that we'll focus on what we really need. Now, for the New Zealand JPY, yesterday closed with this rejection candle facing up, and that's on the daily time frame. And if we come down here, we'll see it's actually hit a resistance level up there. So we have a rejection candle at a resistance. Technically, what that means is that we're looking for an opportunity to sell the New Zealand JPY. So if we zoom down to the 4 hour and finally the 1 hour time frame, we'll be looking at taking a sell on the New Zealand JPY if price breaks out below this minor support zone, and we may target this region here as a take profit if there's a breakout, and that can give us something in the range of about 40 pips, and that's not really bad for an intraday trade. So again, for emphasis, I'm looking for a breakout down here to trigger a sell. To trigger a sell on the New Zealand JPY. Currently, it's trying to form what looks like a head and shoulder, which will trigger the bearish movement. So we're bearish on the New Zealand JPY, and also, like I said, the AUD JPY is also another one. Both of them have the same structure. So for the AUD JPY, is the same thing also. A rejection candle closing yesterday at a resistance level. Technically, we're looking for an opportunity to sell. These are purely intraday setup. So it's a setup that will work today. Just put your attention to them. And these are opportunities you should not miss. Again, this is equally trying to form a head and a shoulder and a drop also, just like the previous one on the New Zealand JPY. So you take a sell when price breaks below the neckline region here and makes a drop. And again, you target the next support zone here as the take profit level. And that also should give you as much as, this one can even give more pips, as much as about 65 pips. The New Zealand JPY can give about 40 pips. This one can give about 65 pips. That's about 100 pips you can pick on these two instruments. They are very sharp rejection candles. Please don't miss these two setup. These are two setup we're looking at today. All right, that'll be all from my end. I'll do a little recap again for those who are just joining us. There is GDP from the United Kingdom by 8 o'clock. That's roughly 40 minutes from now. Now, this news, if we are looking at the GBP CHF and the GBP JPY, and technically both are bearish. So if the news comes out in such a way that the actual is less than forecast, they will be looking at selling either the GBP CHF or the GBP JPY. Any of the two will be perfect to sell. And aside that, for technicals, our focus is equally still on the JPY pairs, the AED JPY and the New Zealand JPY. We are bearish on both of them. We've seen rejection candles on daily time frame, which is pointing us in the bearish direction. So we're looking at an opportunity to sell both the AED JPY and the New Zealand JPY, preferably after the news at 8 a.m. All right, that'll be all from my end this morning. If you have a question, I'll take a few as we close. The network is very, very unstable, so we need to hurry up with whatever we're doing. So if you have a question, go ahead and post it. I'm all ears. I'll attend to you. All right, mode below USD CHF. Yeah, we've always had a bearish view on this dollar, but it looks like the guy is just climbing higher. It looks like the dollar is climbing higher. So this is what I would say. Currently, it's close to a resistance level on the daily time frame. That's the USD CHF. So if price hits this resistance, two things will happen: a breakout and a continuation, or possibly a reversal. It all depends on how the market will move. And don't forget that there is no dollar news today, so you need to trade the dollar with a lot of caution. But then we have to respect the technicals. Price is very, very close to a resistance level. There's a likelihood for a reversal. But if there's a lot of volatility in the market, which many times could have been due to a news, it's possible for the price to break the resistance. But all I would say is that we are close to a resistance on a daily time frame. So trade the USD CHF with a lot of caution. USD card, that's from Mr. Sonny. And please don't forget today is Friday. It's possible volatility may drop in the afternoon or the market might become unstable, anywhere from 12. So that's 12 p.m. So please trade today with a lot of caution. It's very, very important. Now for USD card, USD card is actually trading within a resistance zone on the monthly time frame. This whole region there, you can see, not just a resistance zone, more like price is trying to form a triple top pattern. Now, there will be reversal, but it may not be now. This is the monthly time frame. This is the very big picture. So if you keep scaling down to weekly, to daily, to 4-hour time frame, all right, so this is a 4-hour time frame, and we can see that price, just recently made a higher high, touching the previous highs, and that this could be an indication of a possible retracement or a possible reversal. So we have a rising wedge here. So now the previous candle, these are all information that are very important. Okay, the zoom is too big. The previous candle here before the current, as in the previous 4-hour candle here, this small one is more like a doji, which is indicating the possible reversal. So if there is no sufficient strength to push the dollar today, which is possible, we don't have any dollar news, there's a possibility we might have a decline in the dollar. And if there's a decline in the dollar on a swing note, not intraday, on a swing note price may want to come and try this. Please take note of what I said on swing. I'm not saying it may get there today. I can't guarantee that. But if this area holds and the resistance in that region holds, we may have a decline. We may have a decline today. So trade USD card with a lot of caution. If you are to trade at all, look for an opportunity to sell if price starts to reverse from this region here. Zico is asking about gold. Gold, I can't remember if okay, yes, I remember now. Yesterday, we were talking about gold, and we said that gold is at a resistance level. Dollar index is also at resistance level. Though, yes, I said that I would really rather go along with the dollar index, which could go bearish, while gold could go bullish. But eventually, it's the opposite that happened. The dollar index broke the resistance and went bullish, while gold is the one that went bearish. The truth is that when you have such situation where both of them are on the same level. One will break, the other will go the other way. That's what usually happens. So that's why it's either you wait and see where the breakout happens, or you stay out of the two of them altogether until you know what direction either of them is going. Now, this is the thing with gold. Gold closed yesterday. We had a previous resistance level, and the pattern that gold closed with yesterday is now a bearish engulfing candlestick, which means that gold may be declining further. We may be having further decline on gold. And that yesterday, this is actually the view. All right, so this is the view here. This is how the price broke out on the 1 hour time frame. Let's check the Fibonacci levels. Okay, it's not okay. It's trading currently around Fibonacci 38.2. Now, don't forget, usually on Fridays, it happens. There may be some reversal. So Friday is one day you need to trade with a lot of skill and expertise. Now, we have a support zone here. Technically, we have a bearish engulfing candlestick, which is a bearish pattern. But in the afternoon, like I said, anything can happen. Price may go the other direction. It happens on Fridays. Price may just be erratic. Now, if price before afternoon is able to break this support zone, then we may have a further bearish, movement on gold. Otherwise, if price cannot break the support zone, price may go the other direction to end the day. That's what may likely happen to gold today. Because on the 1 hour currently, as I'm seeing, this is trying to form an inverse head and shoulder pattern, which is a bullish pattern. So you need to just wait and see how price goes in the course of today. So for clarity, if this works out as an inverse head and shoulder, if price breaks above the neckline, then you look at buying gold. If on the other hand, price breaks below the current support zone, then you sell gold. So gold is just at the verge of a breakout, either to the upside or to the downside. It all depends on how the market wants to give us. So put your eyes closely on these two zones I've drawn. A breakout to the upside is a buy. A breakout to the downside will be a sell. GBP USD. Okay, there are a lot of people asking about gold, so I've done gold. So I'll just do GBP USD, AUD USD, GBP AUD. All right. Now, the pound pairs, generally, the pound pairs will react to the news by 8 o'clock. Now, I purposely didn't talk about the GBP USD because I'm not finding a corresponding resistance. There has been a range and a breakout. Yeah, we're bearish. If the news comes out bad for the pound, yeah, it may sell. So it's not really fitting 100% into my personal analysis, but that doesn't mean it may not sell. So there's a bearish outlook generally on the pound. So if the news comes out bad for the pound, we will see a decline in GBP USD along with the other pound pairs that we're already looking at. And for GBP AUD, it's still the same setup. It's the same setup, it's still bearish. All of them are bearish. And I also decided not to talk about this one. It's more of going to be a swing sell. I wanted us to take the ones that could be intraday. Now for GBP AUD, you can see a price hit a resistance. Price hit we have a rejection candle up there, another rejection candle 2 days ago, both of them forming a resistance zone on the daily time frame. And if you switch down to the 4 hour, now there's an outlook to this which I will also want to give. Like I said, overall it's bearish. But in case the news comes out good for the pound, just in case, we don't control the market, we're just showing you what might happen from my experience. But in case the news comes out good for the pound, for GBP AUD is only one I can say maybe you should buy. If the news comes out good for the pound, you may buy it. Price may go back up to hit this resistance. But I can tell you that next week is going to sell because that's next week. It may sell next week because as at that time, it will have formed the perfect head and shoulder for a bearish breakout. So we are generally bearish on the pound, but in case the news comes out good for the pound, you may buy the GBP AUD. You may buy it. It's a bit more volatile than the other pairs, and it can go up to the tune of close to like 100 pips. So you can safely buy GBP AUD in case the news comes out good for the pound. But don't forget, we are still going to be expecting a decline later on, in the course of the new week. Then finally, AUD USD. Yeah, I've been AUD USD will move based on the outlook of the dollar. The dollar is what is driving it. If the dollar keeps going higher, even though the setup I'm seeing here is a bullish setup, we have a very valid bullish setup. We have an uptrend and a support, uptrend on weekly support on 4 hour, sorry, on daily, and a falling wedge on 4 hour. Technically, we are expecting a bullish breakout, and that's what I've looked at all week long, though it's not price is yet to break out of the pattern yet, but then it all depends on the dollar. If the dollar reverses from the bullish outlook currently to bearish, then AUD USD will go up. But currently, it's just trading within this falling wedge. So trading with a lot of caution. It's not going to really buy, it's not going to sell until the dollar decides to reverse. It's the dollar that will determine what happens to the AUD USD. Now, for swing traders, I'll give the last one from my own personal outlook, and that's the Euro New Zealand. Euro New Zealand, I have a bearish outlook. Now, this is purely swing. It may not break out today, but if you're a swing trader, you can put your eyes on it. We'll still give you updates as we enter the new week. You can see there are descending trend lines here on the daily with a resistance and a rising wedge. So on the 4 hour here, we're expecting a breakout, and we're having a pattern here that is looking like a head and a shoulder. So we're getting ready for a bearish breakout on the Euro New Zealand on the swing side. All right, so that'll be all from my end this morning. You can join us in the afternoon for the afternoon analysis session by 12:30 p.m. All right, so take care, trade safe, and have a great day ahead. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, sir. God bless you. Have a nice day.
You too, man. You're welcome, man.
Thank you, sir.